Hello everyone and welcome to the weird, scary and horrible parts of humanity. Today we are going to explore the last army defector of the United States of America to North Korea, Joseph T. White, who defected in 1982. Between May 1962 and January 1965, 4 American soldiers crossed the demilitarized zone into North Korea as deserters of the Army of the United States of America. These were Larry Allen Abshire, who defected in May 1962, Jerry Wayne Parrish, who defected in 1963, James Joseph Dresnock, who defected on the 15th of August 1962, and Charles Robert Jenkins, who defected on the 4th of January 1965. All men were aged 24 or under, with Abshire and Parrish the youngest at 19 years of age. Another defector, Roy Chung, serving with the United States Army as a private first class, defected from Bahnhof in West Germany on the 5th of June 1979 into East Germany, ending up in North Korea. Joseph T. White was born on the 5th of November 1961 in St. Louis, Missouri, to Norval White and Kathleen White, the fourth of 5 children. His father was a utility sprayer at a General Motors truck assembly plant. Unlike his siblings, Wright took a strong interest in politics from a young age and was incredibly patriotic. At the age of 13, he wrote to his senator, Democrat Stuart Symington, warning of the communist threat. Equally, he ensured that the American flag was flown outside his house on all national holidays and folded at sunset. He also volunteered for the 1980 Ronald Reagan presidential campaign at the age of 19, which President Reagan would go on to win with 44 states, 50.7% of the popular vote, and 489 electoral college votes. White was also a devout Catholic, but shy and introverted with few close friends, with his main hobby being reading military history. He was also a Boy Scout and volunteered at a muscular dystrophy camp. At the age of 18, White attended a YMCA model legislature and introduced mock bills requiring 11 months of national service for all 18-year-old males, and in 1980 called for Missouri to withdraw from the Union. Upon his graduation from high school, he wanted to fulfill his lifelong dream of joining the military. Rejected by West Point, White attended the Kemper Military School and College in Boonville, Missouri, where he maintained a B+ average. However, he struggled to fit in with other students and was regarded as a loner. Telling his family that fellow students were losers in letters, he later dropped out and enlisted directly into the Army. At the age of 20, Private First Class White was sent to South Korea in March 1982 and assigned to the 1st Battalion of the 31st Infantry Camp Hause, south of the demilitarized zone. White began to take an interest in both North and South Korea, exploring local villages and learning Hangul, the Korean writing system, as well as taking an interest in Korean women, with a girlfriend in South Korea named Yobosaso. This was not uncommon, with many of the unmarried soldiers having South Korean girlfriends or frequenting prostitutes. In early January 1982, White's unit was sent to Warrior Base at the demilitarized zone, which he described in letters to his parents as a god-forsaken wretched place, noting there is absolutely no entertainment here. A couple of weeks after reassignment, White claimed that he was almost killed twice in a letter to a friend, but for the most part in letters home. He noted his extreme boredom with a lack of entertainment and his frustration at the limit to 2 beers a night. He also looked down on his fellow troops. He spoke of defections from North Korea to South Korea in his letters, but never gave any indication that he himself was planning on defecting. On the 27th of August 1982, White claimed to his squad leader, Sergeant Howard Todd, that he was angry about being denied the opportunity to visit Yobosaso, who was in hospital. Sergeant Todd told White to calm down and told him that he might receive a pass in a week to visit his girlfriend. Then, at about 2 a.m. on the 28th of August 1982, a single shot was heard at Panmunjom region near Kaesong. White had shot at the locked gates leading to the demilitarised zone. White's roommate, Private First Class David Chapman, screamed at White and asked him what he was doing there. White replied that his M16 had discharged by accident and then ran across the demilitarised zone. Almost caught at the fence to the demilitarised zone, White abandoned his duffel bag, which featured night vision goggles, operating instructions for radio equipment, and unclassified documents which he had stolen, and climbed over the fence and made it into North Korea. This was despite the Catholic priest of the unit and his soldiers imploring him to return, yelling, "I am coming, help me, North Korea," in broken Korean. White was subdued by 8 North Korean soldiers and taken into a tent. White's parents denied that he was a defector, with his mother Kathleen White stating, "My son did not cross that line. He loved this country, and he loved that uniform and everything about it. Joey was nothing but gung-ho Army and gung-ho Reagan." She did not stop crying for the first 2 days. She appealed to President Reagan to help her son, writing in letters to President Reagan that he had been captured and that "this is a boy the country needs." North Korea, on the other hand, insisted that White's defection was an act of political asylum. On the 30th of August, the United Nations Command's senior representative, Rear Admiral James G. Storm, who is pictured to the left, requested a meeting with White, which was denied by the North Korean representative Han Jo-kyung, who, in line with his country's rhetoric, insisted that White, who was pictured to the right, had defected. But why did he defect? With military charges pending against White for desertion, his fellow soldiers believed that White abandoned the US because he was unable to see his girlfriend. After checking his room, North Korean propaganda and Korean language books were found in his room. However, it is believed that White's introverted personality may have contributed to his desertion, having advocated for a state militia and right-wing state in Missouri. It is suspected that he had begun to idealize North Korea as his utopian ideal society that he had demanded as an 18-year-old in the YMCA Legislative Council. In the days after he defected, North Korean loudspeakers called for White's fellow soldiers to defect, with terrible mispronunciation of their names. On the 19th of September 1982, the Army of the United States of America concluded its investigation and found that White had defected of his own free will. President Reagan wrote to White's parents, noting that the facts were irrefutable and that their son was a defector, which they reluctantly accepted, devastated that they would never see their son again. On the 4th of September 1982, White gave a press conference to North Korean journalists, with a second press conference held on the 24th of September 1982. His speech was written for him and contained unnatural English and bizarrely mentioned the 1980 South Korean Gwangju incident, a democratic uprising which saw approximately 2,300 individuals killed during a democratic march in South Korea, as well as criticizing South Korea's then President Park Chung-hee and former President Chun Do-hwan. In his speech, White noted, "I am opposed to the unwarrantable policy pursued by the US administration. I also wanted to show the world the corruptness, criminality, immorality, weakness, and hedonism of the US society and government. My coming over to the North was a demonstration of my outrage against the corrupt domestic and foreign policies of the US government. I wished for a life of worth, to be enjoyed by all men, a fair society where people can lead a happy life free from exploitation and oppression." Charles Jenkins wrote in his memoirs, The Reluctant Communist, My Desertion, Court-Martial and 40-year imprisonment in North Korea, that he had seen White's state television press conference on TV. Jenkins also noted that there were plans for White to share housing with Abshir, Dresnok, Parish and himself, however this never came to fruition. Leaflets in Hangul Korean and English were dropped over to United States and South Korean troops in late 1982 and early 1983, showing propaganda images of White in North Korea. In the interim, White's parents attempted to rid memory of their deserted son, removing posters from his room and pictures of his former girlfriend, determined to return to a normal life. In February 1983, White's parents received a letter from New York, which had been sent from the office of Republican Senator John Danforth of Missouri, having been received from North Korea's permanent observer mission to the United Nations in New York. Although the letter was 3 to 4 months old, White claimed that he was happy, working as an English teacher for 2 students, and had helped harvest crops from the previous autumn. He did not elaborate on the reasons for his defection. On the 5th of November 1985, the Whites received a second letter from North Korea. However, this letter was not written by their son. On what would have been their son's 24th birthday, they were informed that their son had been dead since the 17th of August 1985. Written by his best friend and a student of English, Lee Gun-ho, on the 22nd of August 1985, the letter claimed that 3 of his North Korean friends, including Lee, were picnicking on the banks of the Chongchon River, talking and drinking red wine. The Chongchon River is a river which is 217 kilometers in length and runs from the Rangrim Mountains of Changgang Province to the Yellow Sea at Sinanju Province. White decided to swim across the river despite a fast stream. The letter noted, when he reached the middle of the river, he suddenly dipped his body in the water and tossed his head back and then began wriggling. It seemed that he had been caught in a swirl of fast water. It was noted that one of White's Korean friends jumped into the river to help rescue him, but failed, and both drowned with their bodies never recovered. Lee also spoke of happy days when White and his North Korean friends ran and went mountaineering in the morning and strolled in the evening while learning English. However, many doubted White's drowning from the offset. Indeed, White's family were the only family of defectors to be informed directly of his son's death. The world was only informed of Roy Chung's death in 2004. Co-creator of the documentary Crossing the Line, which was based on the life of James Joseph Dresnok, Nicholas Boner, was informed during filming that Chung had died of natural causes in Pyongyang in 2004. Additionally, in this documentary, it was revealed that Jerry Wayne Parrish had died on the 25th of August 1998 at the age of 54, while Larry Allen Abshire had died of a heart attack at the age of 40 on the 11th of July 1983. Both died in the North Korean capital of Pyongyang, never making it back to America, and with the families never informed of their son's death. The world was only informed of Dresnok's death when NK News reported the news in April 2017. It was revealed that Dresnok had died in November 2016, with footage released in August 2017 by the state-owned broadcaster Korean Central News Agency interviewing Dresnok's sons, confirming that their father had indeed died in November 2016, having died of a stroke. Following intense political negotiations, Jenkins was able to travel with his 2 daughters, Brenda Carol Jenkins and Roberta Mika Jenkins, to Jakarta, Indonesia to see his wife, Hitomi Soga of Sado, Japan, who had been kidnapped by North Korean spies together with her mother, Miyoshi Soga, from Sado Island, Japan in 1978, and forced to marry Jenkins. In a sign of changing political times and good faith by the Kim Jong-il regime, Soga was returned to Japan in 2002. Jenkins promised to return to North Korea from Jakarta, but never did, and spent the rest of his days in Sado with his family before dying on the 11th of December 2017. Returning to the United States of America twice for a holiday, he was the only defector of the United States of America Army to North Korea to make it back home, dead or alive. But back to White. The letter was received coinciding with his birthday, as well as the name Lee Gun-ho, which sounded a lot like gun-ho, the name given to him by his mother, which raised questions about the authenticity of the contents of the letter. Indeed, Jenkins noted in his autobiography that he was informed that White had suffered an epileptic stroke. On the 15th of April 1984, Kim Il-sung's birthday, the American defectors were having a party and asked one of the government minders, "Why don't we bring White here?" having never met him. The government minder stated we can't use White and noted that he had an accident or stroke and was now paralysed. Ultimately, if he did have an accident or stroke and was paralysed, one questions how he could swim and ultimately drown. So what happened to White? Did he stand up to North Korea's totalitarian regime? Did he become disillusioned? Was he disposed of by the regime? Did he have a paralysing injury or an accident which left him paralysed? Did he drown, or is he still alive? Odds are we will never know until the regime of North Korea falls. White's family attempted to have his body returned, with Kathleen White noting, "All I really want is a Catholic funeral service, so that he could be buried near his grandparents and great-grandparents. If that could happen, I could have some peace of mind." But White's body was never returned. After 64 years of marriage, Kathleen White died on the 12th of July 2019, with her obituary noting that she was the mother to the late Joseph as one of her 5 children, revealing that despite the questions surrounding his death, his fate has indeed been accepted by his family. Thank you for watching. Please do yourself a favour and hit that like and subscribe button and the bell icon to inform you when new videos come out. It helps more than you know and your support is truly appreciated. You'll also be seeing 2 other videos for you to check out. Until next time, stay awesome, stay classy, be kind to everyone you meet, and have an amazing day.